All right, we are live, everyone. My name is Jesse. You would have seen me in the last 30 minutes with Dr. Felix Lancaster, and we are continuing our Global Biodiversity Festival right now. So over the next 3 days, 50 plus programs featuring amazing speakers from across the globe, all in support of 6 incredible conservation organizations. So of course, as you know, by watching this, it is free to tune in for any of our broadcasts. Our whole schedule is on our site at globalbiofest.com, but we are encouraging contributions, donations to 6 incredible conservation organizations split between Costa Rica, Africa, Florida, and more. So I encourage you to do that if you get the chance. But with that said, I want to turn it over to our speaker. So having just come from 2 broadcasts in Tanzania, we are shifting gears a little and we are heading to the Amazon. So we are joined live by Joao Campos-Silva, who is going to talk to us about community-based conservation efforts in one of the most beautiful areas of the world, the Amazon River, the Amazon Basin, the Amazon Rainforest. It's a name we all know by one word only, which is pretty great for a wildlife area. And so without further ado, Joao, take us away. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you thanks so much, Joseph, for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you everyone for coming. So yes, we are living a very hard moment in the whole world with the coronavirus and everything, but here I would like to share some positive news from Amazon, which can help us to build optimism and hope. So my name is Joao Campos-Silva. I have been working in Brazilian Amazon in the last 12 years with participatory conservation. And here I would like to share 2 successful cases of community-based conservation involving 2 very emblematic animals in Amazon. Well, as you know, many people used to say about the pristine Amazon, the untouched forest, and its biodiversity. Amazon represents almost 50% of all tropical forests remaining on Earth. We have a huge biodiversity, more than 4,000 plant species, 2.5 million of insects, 2,200 fish species, and more than 400 mammal species. It's a very rich place in terms of biodiversity, but also the Amazon, the true Amazon, has many of humans groups living there. So we can say that the Amazon is a proper socio-ecological system with a huge cultural diversity, many indigenous groups, and not only indigenous, but also small farmers, extractivists, fishers, hunters that are living for millennia with biodiversity in a very close relation. So the first point that I would like to highlight is it's impossible to think conservation in Amazon without people, because people are part of the system and they are interacting with the system. So I think that conservation would succeed if we can show new pathways where we can align biodiversity conservation and people well-being. And this is the goal of my presentation. Well, we have this beautiful Amazon with plenty of biodiversity and cultural diversity, but we also have too many threats. For example, deforestation in Amazon, it's a huge threat. We have been losing like 2,200 hectares per day. And this estimate was before Bolsonaro, President Bolsonaro's agenda. So things are even worse at this moment. And also mining, many kinds of mining, gold mining, and this is expected to increase 5-fold in the next 20 years. We also have large dams which have been planted in many places of Amazon. At this moment, we have only in Brazil almost 300 planted dams for the next 10 years. And also defaunation and overexploitation, because we do not have a proper and clear regulation to prevent. So protected areas have been the cornerstone of conservation at this moment. We have many protected areas with different categories, but the problem, the huge problem of protected areas is the lack of the implementation due to shortages in funding and human resource. So we have many papers park in Amazon without a proper management capacity. So in this context, the centralization of conservation could be a good strategy. So it means that empowering local communities to take care of the environment could be effective to prevent the overexploitation and habitat degradation, and also to reduce conservation costs. And also, conservation is the best strategy to sustain and to conserve the local livelihoods. So I would like to share these initiatives at Juruá River. Juruá River, it's a major Amazonian river. It's a very interesting place. It's a whitewater river, very productive, with a huge cultural diversity living there. So here you can see in the map, we have hundreds of local communities, 3 sustainable use protected areas. And this place is very special because it was seen of a silent social revolution. In the last century, the Heber exploitation was a very strong activity at Juruá River, and people used to live almost as a slavery. But then, with the social organization, with the help of the church, and also the Chico Mendes movement to create the sustainable use protected area, this community strengthened their social organization and created the sustainable use protected areas. At this moment, these guys, these local guys, are winning many awards in terms of sustainable use of natural resources. So it's a very diverse place where people live from the nature, from the Heber exploitation, fishing, hunting, palm fruit exploitation. It's very interesting place, but I would like to focus on 2 activities, which is the community-based management of giant arapaima and the giant river turtle. Well, in the case of the arapaima, these models are very similar and very interesting because basically the local guys build wood house in the entrance of the lakes to take care of the environment. So poachers, illegal fishers are not allowed to be there. The same mechanism occurs in the sand beaches. In the case of the arapaima is the largest freshwater scaled fish on Earth. It's a very important fish in Amazon due to its cultural, ecological, and economic importance, but it was almost extinct last century due to overfishing. To reverse this trend, local population, in close partnership with researchers from Mamirawa Reserve, created the community-based management of arapaima. The model works, for example, first, they do the spatial zoning of the landscape. So they have lakes, open access lakes, where commercial fishing is allowed, subsistence lakes, where only local communities can fish for its subsistence, and protected lakes, which where fisheries are not allowed, but they can fish once per year to perform the arapaima management. In this arrangement, they conduct the protection of the lakes and they conduct the arapaima census. This is a very beautiful strategy because the arapaima is an air-breathing fish. So the fish needs to come to the surface to capture the oxygen. And it takes equal intervals of 20 minutes. So experienced fishers can count the number of arapaima. So Once you have the number of arapaima in the lake, you can ask for the government a fishing quota. And without outside the management, the arapaima fishing is not allowed. So let's see the conservation outputs from these arrangements. Protected lakes host an average of 330 arapaima, compared with 9 arapaimas in unprotected lakes. So there is a huge difference in terms of arapaima. And not only the arapaima, another important thing, doesn't matter if this model is inside protected areas or outside protected areas. You just need to have a very engaged community to protect its territory. So it can work outside protected area. For arapaima, and we can see a beautiful population recovery of arapaima. In the last 11 years, we have 4 to 5% of population recovery of arapaima inside protected areas and almost 400% outside protected areas. So basically, local communities are bringing the arapaima back from the brink. And this protection also benefits many other groups, including turtles, caimans, but also there are strong social and economic benefits. The protected lakes have been working as a bank account, which can provide a social security for communities and income generation opportunity. For example, last year we have many cases of serious illness, serious disease in the community, and the arapaima management has paid the treatment, the health treatment of these people in urban centers. So for the first time, these people have like a social security that they can benefit. Also, for the first time, we can see income generation for women. For a long time, women were involved in fishing, but the income always goes to their husband. For with the arapaima, woman has a specific role and they receive a specific income. So it's a paradigm shift in Amazon. Very similar is the giant turtle community-based conservation. Well, the giant turtle is a very important resource in Amazon since before the arrival of Spanish in Brazil and the Portuguese in Brazil. It's an ancient use, very important as a food delicacy, and due to its high importance, it suffered a dramatic population decline over the last century. And community-based management was established in many parts of Amazon to reverse these trends. So very similar with the arapaima, local communities build wood house in front of the beach, and they stay 7 days per week protecting the beach. All the time they are there to avoid poachers, because a single turtle, it's very, very expensive in Amazon. For example, you can sell a turtle in Manaus for $300 or $400, which is a good amount of money for them. And one beach can host up to 2,000 turtles during the reproduction season. So they receive a small amount of money per month to protect the beach, and the results are wonderful. We can see that in the last 40 years, the population of female turtles ovipositing has increased 12-fold. We can see that in protected beaches, we have 58 more giant turtle than unprotected environments. And the most important thing that I think is in these protected beaches, only 2% of the turtle nets were harvested by humans. by poachers. But in unprotected place, this number jumps to almost 100%. So it's a clear output from this model where these people are really protecting the reproduction of these amazing animals. And this protection benefit many others taxonomical groups, other species of smaller turtles, migratory birds, including black skimmers, for example, and resident birds, iguanas, large caimans, black caimans, sorry, and large catfish, river dolphins, and even invertebrates. So the giant turtle is like an umbrella species that are protecting many other species in the riverscape. I don't know if you can hear, but I will play a 30-second of the song of an unprotected beach. Can you hear something?
No, unfortunately not, but we have a way that we can do this after the fact, and we'll walk through that if we can do it.
Problem. No. Probably you are not here because you are in an unprotected beach. But if you come to a protected beach, you're gonna see.
Let's see.
Can you hear something?
A little bit more, but Zoom doesn't want to play it so well. I'm sorry, Joao.
No, I'm sorry. It's not working. Sorry, it's not working very well. But it's a very strong difference. I can send you this presentation for everyone after talking, and we can talk about it. It's very interesting. The difference between a protected beach and unprotected. Protected beach seems like a biodiversity island with too many animals. It's incredible. So the point of this talk that I would like to say is people, Amazonia, just in Brazilian Amazon, we have almost 7 million people living in the forest. So these people, as everyone, as all of us, they would like to improve their lives, and not with technology, not it's just small improvements, and they will try to do that. If we can provide a clear pathway, a clear conservation pathway that can align the biodiversity conservation and people well-being, maybe we can have 7 million people convinced that the conservation is the only solution that we have for Amazon. It's very hard to depend from the government to take care of the Amazonia, especially in this moment that we have all our environmental infrastructure dismantled by our current government. So the inclusion of local people in conservation is a clear strategy that can strengthen the conservation of Amazonia as a whole. There is a thought that I would like to share that is from a researcher, Ratan Lal, and he said that when people are poverty-stricken, desperate, and starving, they pass on their sufferings to the land. So this happened in Brazil, this happened in most of developing tropical countries. And I believe that it's not only about social justice, but it's about conservation effectiveness. If we include and we provide, as I said, this conservation pathway, maybe we can strengthen the conservation at the front line. So this is the Institute Juruá, the place that I have been working. So I'm glad to share all this information. All this information are already published and I can share. And we have a comprehensive program in Brazilian Amazon that we are very happy to host and to receive to everyone who wants to visit Amazon. So thank you very much. This is my email. If you have some questions, just let me know. Thank you, Jesse, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Joao. What a beautiful presentation. And it's so nice for people tuning in at home that they can literally get in touch with you. Very few speakers actually share their emails in a presentation. So if people want to, they can either look at it right now or check out this video, which will stay on our YouTube channel after the fact. Thank you so much, Joao. Now, what I'd love to do is come out of screen share, just a big red button in the middle top of your screen, and then we can see you and take a few questions before we wrap up today. So the first question.
Yeah, sure.
The first question I have is one that we get almost every one of our talks. How did you get interested in this? I mean, you're such a passionate guy. You so clearly love this area you call home, the communities there, the animals there. What inspired you to do this as your job?
Yeah. Yes, I came to the Amazon to work with birds, with conservation of birds. But then I was introduced to this beauty Amazon in terms of cultural diversity, and I realized that the alignment between humans and biodiversity is very beautiful. It's very and has a huge potential. So I fallen in love for this subject.
Fantastic. Is there an animal now? I mean, so bird is how you got started. Is there anything now that really inspires you particularly? I mean, this Arapaima and the giant river turtle stories are so wonderful. Is it one of those animals that really get you up in the morning, or are there other animals that you're really keen to help protect with this same sort of community model?
Yeah. Yes, actually there are many beautiful species. I think that the point of these two animals, because they are very culturally important and they are very emblematic, so they can work as an umbrella species. So if you go to a protected lakes and a protected beach, you're gonna see that the Arapaima and the giant river turtle, it's only like a flag species, an umbrella species, because you are protecting the whole environment with many species. In our group, we have many guys working with other fish species and even invertebrates. So it's only a strategy to ensure the protection of the whole system.
Outstanding. And you highlighted that so well in some of your slides, that if you protect certain species, that really there's a rippling effect through the entire ecosystem that benefits not only the other animals, but the communities there. All right, Yazini online wanted to know, how do you manage to uphold both the cultural traditions of the communities and these conservation goals at the same time? So in a lot of your talk, you highlighted that those goals are one and the same, they're linked, but is there any instance where they might be different, and how do you manage that?
Yeah, there is actually each community, each cultural group has their own demands, own social demands. I'm talking, for example, about the socioeconomic benefits, but we have like indigenous groups that are not interested in economic benefits. They want to see more Arapaimas, and that's great. So. But I think that the point that can link the whole cultural diversity that we have is the empowerment to protect its territory. Because within these community-based arrangements, local communities are empowered to protect its territory. And this is important for all groups. So I think it's the most important question in this arrangement.
Outstanding. Well, one last question before we wrap up, and I think the answer is an unequivocal yes, something that we've seen in our other presentations for this Biodiversity Festival. But someone online wants to know, do you think that the successful conservation practices there are stuff that can be shared outside as you go down the Amazon and the other countries along the Amazon basin to enact this sort of change all over the place in South America?
Yeah, I think that first, to expand these ideas and this model, we need to work on paradigms of conservation, because sometimes conservation, we still have too many conservationists that want to exclude people. So we need to show, we need to create like a positive agenda showing that it's possible to conciliate biodiversity conservation and people and social aspiration. So first we need to create this hope, this optimism. And then we need to go deeper in these successful arrangements to understand which is the most important principles that can work in tropical environments. We have social principles, we have institutional principles, and we have like intrinsic values from the natural resource that can help to succeed. So we need to go deeper to create like a broad, a more comprehensive guideline to establish these arrangements elsewhere. So we started to thinking these things. I have material to share. So if you are interested, please just be in touch that we can have a deeper conversation about the expansion of this model. But we are trying to do that in Amazon at this moment.
Outstanding, Joao. What a fun presentation. Certainly, if we're looking for positivity and conservation, I think everyone should email you when they're done this program, because you have it in spades. Thank you so much for such a positive message today. Some beautiful images of one of the most unique places in the world. And all I want to say is for everyone tuning in, do continue to join us over the next 3 days. We have many more presentations on the Amazon and South American wildlife coming up. And certainly community conservation is something that imbues every single presentation we have, 50 plus talks over the next 3 days. Again, all in support of 6 incredible conservation organizations. Joao, thank you so much for joining us today. And we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. My pleasure, Jesse. Thank you very much. I'm excited to see the other presentation. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day, everyone. See you soon.